Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury. So today, movie review. I got to see MUFASA in the theaters recently, so I wanted to talk about it. What I liked, what I thought could be improved on, and just my general impressions of this movie. So, MUFASA, it is a prequel to The Lion King in that quote-unquote live action style because it is still animated, but it is in that sort of like hyper realistic type of style that when they remade The Lion King, it used that type of technology and type of animation. So it has that live action feel, even though it's still animated. So let's get into it. What did I think of this movie? Well, first and foremost, visually, it's a gorgeous movie. It's gorgeous. The technology is really improving in the kind of computer generated animation style that they're using, and it really feels quite immersive and like realistic. Like I felt like I was on, the savannah with Mufasa going on this adventure. So that was pretty cool. It's amazing thinking back on the evolution of this type of technology and animation, because I remember when it first started coming out and it was sort of used like intermingled with like live movies, and like I'm thinking early 2000s, and there was always sort of what I refer to as like a token CG moment, and you would see it in things like Lord of the Rings, where it was like the technology was new and evolving, and it kind of looked separate. Like it was like there's this world and this animated thing that just kind of got stuck in there, and it didn't quite mesh properly with the world. And it's amazing to see how that technology has really evolved over the last like 10, 20 years. And it's really come so far. It really stands out to me any scenes with water. When they capture the flow of water and the little bubbles and the little white caps and like, anytime I see water in this type of a style, it's amazing, because that's where I notice those details of how far it's come. So, number one, visually, beautiful movie, beautiful. Character development, I loved it. I loved that Mufasa and Scar did not start at odds. It gave that backstory. It let us know that journey that kind of brought them to where they are in The Lion King. It brought us to like why Scar is so sour at Mufasa and why he has a chip on his shoulder. And it really kind of like filled in the blanks of like everything leading up to that point. Which to me, it's like, if from just watching The Lion King, it's leaves you with a quandary, and you can kind of guess or fill in the blanks along the way. But having the opportunity to see it play out and see it evolve and see those characters develop over time, and how the supporting characters came into the mix, right? Zazu. We learned about Zazu's origins, which so much fun. I thought Zazu was a great addition to this. And Rafiki. Rafiki was one of my favorite characters in this. I absolutely loved that this was a Rafiki movie in a lot of ways. I absolutely love that. Something I didn't love was that they kind of shoehorned Pumbaa and Timon into this movie. This movie did not need Pumbaa and Timon in it. They didn't need to be there. They sort of took a page out of The Lion King 1.5, and they kind of like kept breaking the fourth wall and interrupting the story just to have moments with Timon and Pumbaa. It's like, I get it. They're beloved characters. I love Timon and Pumbaa. They are fantastic characters. But they didn't need to be here. And in some ways, it was actually kind of disruptive to the flow of the story. Just my 2 cents on that. The voice acting. Bringing characters to life through voice acting is a skill. It really has to be honed. And it's not easy, because you don't have the facial expressions. You don't have the visual cues, right? you only have the tonality. You only have the highs and lows of what you can do with your voice. And the voice acting in this was really, really good. It, the voices matched the animation of their character. There was never a moment where I felt like a mismatched voice, where I didn't feel like, oh, this is what this character would sound like based on the way they're presenting themselves or their posture or their, you know, like whatever, based on anything. But I always felt like the voices matched what the character was. Now, onto what I felt was mismatched. This might be a hot take. I do not think Lin Manuel Miranda should have done this movie. I said what I said. I love Lin Manuel Miranda. I love his work, his music. I think he is fantastic. But with the style that they were going for in this movie, it was a mismatch to his style. Because what happened, in my opinion, is they utilized the original Lion King score, or derivatives of that score, which is this epic, kind of drum-heavy building. Like, I can't really describe it well, but like, if you watch the original Lion King, and I'm not talking about like the songs with like the Elton John songs, right? I'm talking about the background score. They maintained the background score style from the original Lion King. That feel, that vibe carried through it. All of the songs that were sung by the characters in Mufasa, they felt like songs from Moana. They had a different vibe, a different pep to them, a different pacing to them, in a way that felt like two separate things. Honestly, I wish Lin was able to have done Moana 2, and they had somebody else do the music from Mufasa that would have better matched the style of music they were going to score this movie. And I feel like it's important that the score did stay the same, because it's sort of that thread that ties it together to the previous canon that we all know. So I feel like it was important to use that score, but I feel like with Lin's style, it was just, it didn't blend. It didn't blend. So every time it shifted from score to song, I felt it, and it felt like two different movies. They didn't match together. They're both wonderful separately in their own right. I think they're great songs. The Brother song is delightful, but it didn't match the score and the vibe throughout, and it left me feeling a little bit disjointed. I said what I said. I mean, that's just my opinion on it, but that was how I reacted to that. Overall, worth seeing. I think it's a good movie. That music mismatch was rough for me. It was rough for me. Not gonna lie about that. But does that take away from the story, the voice acting, the quality of the animation? Not at all. They were all absolutely wonderful. And like I said, the songs separately are great songs. They are great songs. I just didn't feel like they fit the vibe of what was going on in the movie. Just my opinion on that. So that is my thoughts on Mufasa. And I guess that's it for right now. I'll see you all real soon. And until then, stay inspired by everyone. Take care.